It looks like Dishonored too.
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
So there is. I don't know how to get the YouTube link. Oh wait, I do. Here we go. YouTube page, because that's different. I got to put that in the. Oh, and it's using.
It's my face.
That's the best thumbnail ever.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Okay. So since this is recorded, let's stop laughing at how funny that thumbnail is. I mean, it's not like your face is funny or anything. It's just the fact that it's.
I appreciate you not saying my face is funny.
No, it's not. It's not funny. It's the fact that a giant face is a YouTube thumbnail. I'm gonna like replace that later.
Please,
so
please do.
Not that your face isn't pretty. It's just that thumbnail deserves something like the gal site art or something. I don't know.
Much more my face.
So just real quickly then, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, some of the stuff with Blade Symphony Free-To-Play. One of the big setbacks right now, I think personally, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I haven't had enough time to get like a good task list together for him. So he's kind of like just shooting in the dark with different directions, and he's like, I'll work on this and I'll work on that. And yeah, and I feel that's my fault because like I feel like you're developing using ADD right now. So once we kind of get like a good idea, like last week and a half has been sort of exploring different ideas. And I kind of want that still to be the case of this meeting. Like, let's think about ideas. There is a Excel sheet. Shit, do you have a link to it, the spreadsheet, Josh?
I can get it in 1 sec.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, I've kind of distributed this out to like the community a little bit. It's in the supporters channel. I don't know why not. Yeah, and the dev channel. But there's a couple of different, like, it started with just this basic list of the swords that were in game, and then, you know, I kind of somewhat arbitrarily picked which swords should be like something that people have to purchase or something that people have to earn in game. But the other stuff sort of around that table is like this idea that from a twofold perspective, like we need to encourage people to obviously like support the game by purchasing items, which is swords, masks, stuff like that. But then the other part is like, how do we support, or how do we continue to encourage people like playing the game? So we came up with a couple of different ideas for like perks or rewards. Because, you know, we can't just have the game just be like, oh, join and it's free and then everything is purchasable, but there's no other point in playing a few duels. Like the idea with progression and XP and levels is that like people want to progress and do something. So there's perks for like chat text, a different name or different color glowing around their name in the scoreboard. I said glowing around the name in the scoreboard instead of like different color because it might get too messy if everyone's got different colors. I don't know. Footstep color, sword glow. You're saying that we can do glow type, Josh. That's like
Yeah, we can do an outer glow, which is like a halo around it. If you've ever seen like the halos in Gary's mod or Left 4 Dead, we can do that type. Or we can do, and if I screen share right now, let's see, should be able to show it off.
Let's do that glorious screen.
Sword glows one. We can do like an inward glow that's kind of like a rimlet type thing. So we can do that type as well.
Can you get to somewhere that is a little bit more well lit? It seems like it's always dark on winter. I mean, I know why it's always dark, but like.
So here.
Of course, we're defaulting to box. Okay, so that is that an inner glow? That's sort of
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then, so you said there's an inner glow, outer glow, a pulse.
Yeah, we can try. We can do a pulse because yeah, that's also a feature.
Okay. Well, so I kind of wrote down like I'd like to have a clear idea of what people get at what level, and so I wrote down. Oh, and then there were some ideas that people like supporters were coming up with, like shuriken throwing colors, but that would probably require us attaching like a. Is there a way we could make like? Oh wait, no. The shuriken has a trail, right? Yeah, it has a trail. I think when you throw it.
We can add a glow around anything. I could literally put it on any model.
Well, if we add a glow to the shuriken, no one's gonna really see it because it only shows up for a couple minutes. You know, but if we change the trail color of it somehow, is that something that we could do? Because I think there's a trail. I feel pretty confident.
Let's have a look. It kind of has a trail. And I think it's probably colored by the normal color right now.
Right.
You could probably do something like an impact effect too.
Right, I'll be right back a second.
Yeah, I feel like, and it's tough too because there's a couple really cool ideas that we have or that were had, but an impact effect would be neat.
Yeah, like if shuriken hits and it does like a little kapow if you're a supporter.
Yeah, something like that would be pretty cool. Or at least like some particle effects or something. It's tough too because like obviously we don't really have anyone to do particles right now, so we'd have to like try and see if we could grab Spire or Twin or someone to do some work.
Yeah.
But these are sort of a lot of these ideas are the things that like
I've returned.
These are things like basically Josh can do without artist intervention. That's basically why we're focusing on these kind of things. Like custom emotes, like animation and stuff, would require like animators and.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and then if we were to do the particle stuff, like we'd have to do an artist, or have an artist that like knows how to fuck with sources particles and make them work on different areas. And, yeah, and really the best people for that were like Spire, Termi, Twin Cannon.
I don't think I even know how to do that, and I used to do source engine modding.
When it's like a pain to work with, I'm sure it just like that knowledge goes away.
Yeah.
So
I wonder, did we ever announce that we're doing x64?
No, we didn't really, because I think some people just assume that should be a thing, but we can. I mean, I'll probably write it up in the blog post about.
So the only other 64-bit source game I know of is Titanfall.
Oh
Dota,
yeah,
64-bit client, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Dota.
Yeah, but that's Source 2 now, isn't it?
Oh, good point.
CS:GO, right?
No.
I actually don't believe CS:GO is 64-bit client.
I mean, yeah, we could. I don't think that's going to be a selling point, but we'll definitely. I mean, I'll mention it.
We're in the modern world.
It's a selling point for Source.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a selling point for Source, but we're not trying to sell Source.
Yeah, good point.
So at the bottom, I made like a list, just sort of a fake list, not fake list, but like a test list of things that we could do with regards to level progression. So like level 0, obviously you start with nothing. Level 1, you know, you get some different colored chat. In level 3, you get a different color on your scoreboard. Level 5, you get your footstep glow or your footstep colors.
So are you saying that all the colors that you get would only work on certain things? Or are you saying that you would unlock the ability to have the scoreboard color one of your fancy colors that you get given?
The latter. The latter of the two. So basically you go up to level 5 and then you can unlock one, or you can use one of your fancy colors on your footstep. Yeah. The thing is though, is that like, no, you're just unlocking colors to use in the footsteps. But like before level 5, you wouldn't have any colors, so you wouldn't be able to use footstep colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Because if we don't do something like that, then there's no. I mean, you progress and you get like all 4 things within the first like 10 levels, right?
Kind of an aside. I know we're talking about items that you can get. One of the things I've been playing a lot of Destiny recently, and they do weekly challenges that cycle. So you have like things like kill 2 guys or 20 guys airborne, or like stuff like that, right? And they're just weekly challenges that you have the whole week to complete. At the end of the week, they cycle, and you get like little rewards off of it.
Mhm.
Could be something for like extra XP. Have some
Yeah.
Blade Symphony style challenges that just rotate. Just make like, I don't know, 20, 30 challenges in a pool, and then select 3 of them in a given week and just automate it. Don't have to do anything manually.
So what would be the reward?
I think you
Probably
can do XP boost or something like that.
Yeah. That'd
Maybe-
probably be best, just because like the art. If we were to have to make something that we give away once a week, it would be pretty much a full-time job for somebody, you know. So like XP boost would make sense.
Yeah, you need to like, since the goal is to get people to keep playing. What your reward could just be a 1-day XP boost, just double XP per day, and then if you complete all 3 challenges, then you get triple XP or double XP for 3 days, kind of thing.
Maybe like we give them it as an item, and they can like store it and decide to use their boost.
I would activate it right away, actually, because then
Well, at that point, then everybody's going to. Oh yeah, I guess so.
you encourage people to keep playing that day, and it basically just chains
So,
off.
if you do that and we have a double XP week on, would you get 4 times the XP or still double?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, why not? I mean, like, I imagine we're gonna announce double XP weeks or whatever, and the XP boost. Like, if we do an XP boost that week, then it's probably going to be a little harder, you know, than normal. But other than that, there should be no reason to really deter people from getting 4x if they complete everything and it's an XP boost weekend.
Yeah, because then you're actually having people play in order to achieve those challenges. So it's like you get double the bonus off of it. You get people playing the game and then getting a bonus for playing the game. So just keep playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that is actually, that wouldn't require art, really. That's something that Josh could probably do. I mean, it would require art when we put it in as like in the scoreboards and stuff, but like at least getting the functionality working. Okay. And I didn't check it, Josh, but were you able to see if like the shurikens have they have trails? I mean, I know they have like little.
Yeah, they kind of have like a trail, and I think it's colored by your like the VS color converse, which is
Gotcha.
a customized thingy.
So is there a way we could like raise that color and implement it as something where like maybe people can change their
Yeah, like I did for the swords.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
should be able to.
Could you put
Okay.
words within the trails, kind of like within the particle outlines?
It's probably gonna be too small to be able to see that, but sure.
I was just kind of
Like,
thinking like the Rocket League effect of like when you got the ball in the goal, it said boom, sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's because those are like straight up particles,
Yeah.
as opposed to like changing like a material's color, like tint or hue or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, if we had someone to do source particles, like I feel like there would be no limit. You know, like it might be what I work on finding is somebody in the next couple of weeks that can just like.
I know a guy who does source particles.
Yeah, I love hearing when you know a guy. So if you want to talk to him, because like I know that some of our own particles, like the spawning particles, like there's things that could use touch-ups, but
Oh, you could do spawning particle effect. People would go crazy for those.
that's right. There is the spawning particle effect for like at least judgment. Oh, they all do. They all have them. Yeah.
You could have like a bunch of hearts come out of supporters. Just be like, "You're awesome."
Yeah.
Like this guy right here, just arrows pointing down at him.
Although,
Do you want me to get you in contact with that guy?
Yeah, sure. Because if we do particles, then at that point, like the sky's the limit, right? Like we can have a particle for when you strike a killing blow and when you do all sorts of different things in game, basically rewards.
Yep, that's what I was mentioning earlier.
So I guess really there's no shortage of ideas, but realistically, Josh, what are you going to be able to get in really for the next week? Like as far as the stuff that we've discussed.
Well, it depends what you want in, because I'm not too sure where to go after sword glows.
What to do after sword glows?
Yeah.
Probably the glow types if you haven't already done that.
Well, yeah. I included that in what I meant.
How about footsteps?
Yeah, I could look into footsteps because we already have footstep shadows, so it would just be making footstep shadows with a different texture.
Right. So I think you did say that like CS:GO had some footstep stuff that was implemented or used at least.
Yeah.
We could basically tint the texture based on
That could work. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what a menu bug? Oh no. Yeah, something like that. Like just make them really glow and bright, and then maybe they like fade real quickly. So they're not necessarily distracting or high in saturation, but they're there and they're something cool for people to show off that they can have. That's kind of like the intent behind some of this progression stuff. But if you can get that stuff done, and then like the chat text, which is probably pretty easy, I think are already the game chat text is based on your color. Why is my chat not coming up?
So would you like a different chat text color, as in separate from the armor color?
Well, this was your idea, the chat text.
Yeah, but so we're talking about separating it.
Yeah. So this would be something that people would unlock, right? Like they would gain a certain color at a certain level. So like they have the ability to chat in blue or something. And we'd probably scale it so that it's all like through a spectrum of, most green people being green, right? Like you unlock green and then you eventually go to red or something like that, or blue.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just progression ideas that you can do, obviously, without artwork before we get a particle guy. I know you're waiting on me for the concepts for the free-to-play sort of board stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, all the info's there. It grades you on how well you've done.
Okay. Are you going to throw that, are you going to upload that on GitHub soon?
I can push it to get soon. I think I've pushed some of it.
Okay. Yeah, if you can get that up, I would at least like to be able to compile the game on my side to see some of that, because the idea that I sort of had was essentially every round to end, it would just give you a good teaser. Because we talked about, what are you doing? Are you smoking a bomb?
Say again?
What are you doing?
Currently it's just a bar, but I plan to replace it with the stuff that the health bar uses, which is the fancy health bar shader.
Right. Yeah. So essentially it was like the health bar assets, but then like it would fill up based on like, your health, your opponent's health, because, obviously if you lose, your opponent still has health. And then like, the different meters and stuff. But then at the end of the duel, it would show all three like together. You know what I mean? Like all three little bars representing each round, or two, depending on how the rounds went. And then at the bottom of that, it would show your modifiers based on like your tier diversity and your or stance diversity, tier usage, all those things.
But what if it was a duel, right? That had about 15 rounds, because you do get them. You do get duels that have a lot more rounds.
Should always be best of 3.
No, on servers they can customize the amount of rounds.
Oh right. Oh fuck. That seems a little. It seems like server owners could potentially. Oh shit. We might have to limit how many duels can be in a round, or rounds can be in a duel.
Well, your XP is the average. Well, it's kind of the average across all of them. So
Well, you
across
said you
all
couldn't
rounds.
you couldn't calculate one of the modifiers based or until a dual end occurred, is what you said in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. It's all calculated at the end, not at the end of a round.
Right. So it sounds
It's
like, I mean,
round.
we just can't allow people to play 15 fucking duels. And if they change
Well,
that,
they can, but it won't give them any more XP than if they played 3.
oh, you're saying it like make it into an average.
Yeah, it already is.
So if they play 15, it'll just give. Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, we'll see how that fucking works, I guess. So you answered your own question. Is what I guess what you're saying.
Yeah, but you were talking about having different bars for each of the duels.
Yeah, I guess like could we? Fuck yeah. Because we have to factor in the opponent's health, each opponent and your health for XP, don't we?
So yeah, we have those bars. Are you talking about having those two as one of the bars? As 2 of the bars, sorry.
No, I'm talking about having at the end of a round 1 bar representing essentially the XP that you just gained for that round.
Oh, okay. I think I misinterpreted what you said.
And in the next round, it shows the next round bar, and then either the final round, if that wasn't, or either the final round, or if that wasn't the final round, it would show both bars or all 3 bars in the case of best out of 3. And then it would show like the modifiers at the bottom. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't have time to like come up with a good concept for it yet. I haven't just put pen to paper on that yet. But
Okay.
the idea would be so that you could get a good breakdown of like how you did each round and then what your modifiers were. Because I imagine the modifiers would apply to all of the rounds.
Yeah, it's like all the rounds and it gives you a grade.
Right. So if you can just imagine in the middle of the screen after playing a round, there's 1 bar at the top that's like half full, another bar at the middle that's half full, and then one at the bottom that's somewhat full, and it just sort of like it shows what the XP was for all of those rounds, and then what your modifiers were. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, it might be something I'll have to better illustrate, obviously, with the yeah. Sorry.
Because the reason that we can't calculate it unless it's the end of the round, sorry, if it's the end of the duel, is because the way it does is it takes the average of everything so far, and that also returns all the data. So we'd have to keep caching the data for all these rounds if we did it on a per round basis.
Right. Okay.
Instead of doing it at the end of the duel.
Yeah, I just worried that we would be getting into I just I want to make sure that it's pretty clear for everybody who's playing like what they're getting and stuff. But let me go back to this sheet real quick. So would you be able to after the chat text and scoreboard text and footsteps be able to work on coloring the shuriken trail?
Yeah, it should be okay to do that.
Okay. Sorry, say that again? Yeah.
Say again?
So once you do all that, we just need to establish some levels, essentially, like that. All this stuff is unlocked, and that is stored, I guess, with Steam, right?
And kind of, we'd have that on our API. Then we'd link the stuff that you'd get from as a Steam item, like the item ID, to the level that it would unlock.
Right.
Then we'd say, hey, you unlocked this item at the end of a duel, and then it would display, hey, we unlocked this item to the player.
Yeah. Okay. Well, once we establish those levels, like I put ones at the bottom of that sheet that could be used, then it's just a matter of making it so you unlock it and we test that. And then we got to get some more perks to put in the game, and Fuck. What else we got to do?
Um,
Oh, work
we've
on the whole.
we've
shopping.
got to do workshop stuff,
Yeah.
and we also need to take a picture of every single sword and every single mask and every single cape.
So where is that application that you created? By the way?
It's in the game. If you do, hang on, let me find it.
Shit, you haven't uploaded a new build with the console fix, have you? Because I still can't F10 to bring up my console unless like.
Oh, I haven't pushed to Steam in a little while.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to find out what the command was. One moment.
Well, if you find it, at least throw it in the dev chat, and I can go through and like take some pictures. I'm surprised that you didn't make it so that it just like grabs a standard. Whoa. Are you seeing this on my screen? It like colored Judgment's like head. Is that supposed to happen?
Well, I think the mask thing that filters the color might be a little bit off.
Yeah.
That would not be a good.
Looks like a character out of Destiny.
That happened in the game.
Nice. He's feeling a little green, a little sick there. Yeah, I think your mask is off.
Well, we don't want the fuck. Yeah.
I think that might have been something in a shader that wasn't ported over properly.
Yeah, and you can tell Phalanx's shaders are still fucked. Are they fixed on yours?
That's I looked into what was causing that, and I couldn't find anything other than the position of the light. Because if you're in game, it looks fine. It's just on that screen.
Yeah, and Piers is fucked up too. I think Ryoku's is even fucked.
I think it might just be because that light is incredibly bright.
I mean, I don't know. It didn't happen on live.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure of what the difference was that causes
I mean, it's
it.
not even switching colors for Phalanx here. Ah, shit. Yeah, there's some work here to be done.
Well, there's an issue that I didn't know about.
Well, that's why I'm gonna focus like first thing on next week is getting Jenkins jobs properly set up to do this. Okay. Yeah. So as far as other ideas then, whether it requires artists or not, there's all sorts of things that run the gamut, right? Like there's particles for when you kill somebody, particles for when you hit them with a shuriken, particles for probably when you actually land a hit on them. How much of this would be purchasable though? Like if we get to a point where it's like okay, you can unlock so much that your character can do as far as glowing and particles and all sorts of shit. Like
you could just do loot boxes.
Yeah.
Have it when you like level up, it drops a loot box that opens up, gives you some stuff, and then you can buy the loot boxes for free to play, and then use Steam Market to sell the duplicates. Super duper straightforward. I believe it's also supported in the back end as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that's something that we can definitely look into. Do you guys have any other ideas? Sorry, go ahead.
Is there any reason to give a loot box instead of just giving them the item?
Promote gambling.
If you just do the items,
like if you just do the items, it literally.
Then it's a drop table, which is functionally the same thing.
Well, I mean, kind of, except for then you don't have a way to create, like keys if you wanted to, and then charge more for the keys.
I wouldn't want to do keys, but I'm just thinking so if you're buying the items directly, yeah, you can do that. So you could do it that way instead, is have a loot box or just a random drop when you level up, and then have a Steam item store for items that aren't Yeah, for everything else. Just depends on what you want. Loot boxes are fairly effective, though.
The stream doesn't come in as quickly as I would hope.
Yeah, I'm getting seconds per frame here.
Oh, hey Josh, did you ever implement the God, man, I suck at this game. Stoney's font stuff?
No, I've been meaning to though.
Okay. Well, there's another thing. Are you writing this down? Write this down on a little notepad.
Oh, let me. Sticky notes. That's still a thing. I'm glad.
Oh,
Right,
God.
so we've got Blurry Man. Sword, flow, stylizing,
The blue head is really funny.
color. Maybe we should just keep that in.
Blue man group sword fighting.
Why don't we just keep it in and call it Dystopia 2, but aliens have come, and they use swords and not guns.
Weird. Okay. Particles, just particles in the background.
No, I have never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, and it also shows Pure as my name.
No, that's the bot's name.
Oh.
Yeah, it was showing your name.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Shit. Is it? Wait, hold on. There we go. Oh, yeah, it was. Okay. That was my class. All right, so any other ideas as far as shit that we can give out to people? Like perks for progression? Because playing Rocket League and playing Warships and playing these free-to-play games, like, not free-to-play, I mean, Rocket League isn't free-to-play, but, like, it's fucking amazing to me, like, what you get with each, I mean, shit, Rocket League has the idea of just titles. I guess we could implement the sort of...
I don't understand the point of that, because you could just change your name on Steam.
Yeah, but the title is more of an achievement thing that you're showing off.
I don't think... No, I think in Rocket League, it just shows it under your name in the scoreboard. Or, like, like in a different color, almost.
And you can do you have, like, kill cards? Or the intro sequence. If you want if you have art stuff, you could do, like, a little bit of, like, a stylizing your intro sequence kind of thing as an item.
That would be
so
cool.
Like, maybe you can change the background, because I noticed it was like, can you just play the intro sequence again? Like when you get ready to start a fight? Because maybe you can just do your, like, instead of doing a background, like, it does this where it, like, shows the person, and then instead of showing the map, maybe you can have some kind of colored background or, like, some supporter thing that happens, particle effect or something there. Something to be like, you.
Now.
Maybe. I mean, we're talking about ideas that artists required or not. Like,
yeah.
I thought my messing about with the stencil buffer was finished when I was done with the glows.
It's a stencil buffer. You can never escape it. I hate stencil buffers. Yeah, I'm looking at chat in the Google, the supporter chat. Yeah, definitely. Like something coming off your cape as well.
Like blood?
Flowy. No, like a particle effect or something, like a special cape thing. I don't know. Like some kind of something to show off that you have this item, and then if you are a supporter, you get a special item, and if you level up, you get different types of items, kind of thing. Maybe different colors.
Yeah, that could work.
Like, flags in Rocket League?
Yeah, like flags in Rocket League.
Let's put a flag on the end of the sword.
There you go.
Beat each other with, like, national flags.
Someone is going to make that on the workshop now.
You always do, like, equip sockets within the sword, so you could add, like, stickers or whatnot.
Oh yeah, we can do decals like that, but they'd never be seen.
That's why I think you should do it on the intro sequence.
Yeah, I think I really like the intro sequence idea, because we could just display, like, a texture behind them or something. Keep it simple. And then people could submit their own.
Yep. And you can have workshop support for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because it like shows both players facing off against each other, and then it shows one player, then the next player, and you can have it split down the middle, like diagonally. So like each player has their own like section that they're showing off against each other. So you can have like a texture of like somebody like getting ready to fight, and then another one is like a tiger, and then like they're facing off against each other.
That would work better for the end of a duel because
that could work too.
Like a nice cinematic sequence at the beginning, and then if you do like the diagonal down the middle for the ending, and then display the other stuff over the top.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, what do they do in like UFC or something like that? There's the whole pre-game show that they do in order to hype up the fight, hype up the match. So you kind of want to do you probably want to do something similar, you know, because it's a fighting game, right? You want to hype up the match.
Okay. Can you write down? Can one of y'all write down some of these in the fucking spreadsheet?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we're recording on YouTube, so.
Yeah, that's true.
YouTube will take our words and into the closed
typing
stuff.
I could not hear you over the typing.
Yeah, Josh is typing too.
I can't. There's no push to talk on here.
Yeah.
Just click the mute button every time you want to talk.
Or just don't have a loud keyboard.
I have a loud
That's possible. Sorry, buddy. I got one too. I just don't use it.
Sword glow style item, yeah. Color shader. Color shader. What is color shader?
The Blue Man Band.
Oh right, yes. Sure can glow stencil background for intro sequence and stuff, yeah. I feel like there's something else. Oh, did you do like scoreboard color, name colors?
Oh, I'll write that.
I think that was in live. That was already set up. Like, why is my chat not working? By the way.
Yeah, but it uses that color uses the doodad color, the armor color, and now we're separating out all the colors.
Right. Okay. Does chat work for you? By the way, like in game. Have you tried it?
Oh, good spot.
I think the answer to that question is no.
Also, I was able to break the menu again earlier. I really feel like you should upload a new build.
Okay.
Get these bugs fixed. I don't know if you fixed the menu one, but like I was fucking around earlier and I somehow got it like where I couldn't. There you go. Yep, can't change tabs.
Does the store work?
What?
The store.
Yeah.
Well, it would help if it was on like a proper app ID.
Well, sure. It's not the store button I care about though. It's like I can't click these tabs. And all you have to do is if you just go into this menu and just like click back and forth between characters and tabs, it will eventually break. Just like as quick as you can.
Yeah. Okay, I'll look into that.
Oh man, is his skin green? Does that show is green? I know. So it's just this character, or
so it seems like the bits that get tinted properly, but it also tints the bits that aren't meant to be.
Well, you said you wanted to fuck around with shaders, so there you go. Okay. All right. Well, then I think you're pretty good for the next week. Monday, first thing I'm going to be doing is working with Atomy to get those builds set up, or to get all those Jenkins nodes set up so that we can build Linux and Windows 32-bit and 64-bit and just deploy them directly to Steam. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about like what is needed besides compiling engine and game.
Are you doing the same for Galsite as well?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. We didn't have. I created an Azure VM and it's off, but we're like, Atomy was working on creating, and he's doing that because like the virtualization software we were using couldn't create like newer VMs essentially, so we threw it on Azure, but it was costing a lot of money. So
okay, yeah, Azure VMs are really expensive.
Yeah, even with our credit.
Yeah,
but we basically on Monday I'll get a couple of machines up on our end and work on getting them to deploy. I'm still going to use that thing where it's like I'm telling MS Build to deploy Galside.
Okay.
Or to build Galside, because that, what did you use that last time? That like engine compile?
Installed engine build.
Yeah, that didn't seem to work.
It didn't work?
No.
Oh, it worked locally.
We ran a couple of builds and it was like shit in the bed. Maybe it shit the bed for a different reason. I'm not sure.
Did you turn off? Because by nature, like by default, it will try to compile Linux and Mac on Windows, which obviously doesn't work, and iOS and Xbox and PS4, which all don't work. You have to turn those off manually.
Did you do that? I'll have to give that a shot.
That's probably what it is.
That's probably going to be the first thing I work on Monday and Tuesday then.
Yeah, once you get to Galside stuff, let me know and I'll help out with it.
Okay. Speaking of Galside, is there anything you wanted to chat about?
I've just been waiting for builds, honestly. Okay. I want to do more of the menu stuff, but other stuff got in the way, obviously. Yeah. Got busy with that stuff, so
having the menu stuff would be nice, because
that
stupid fucking disclaimer of having to use the keyboard to the menu is just silly.
Yeah, I was just gonna take all of the assets that already exist and just basically redo the menu with UMG and just make it work. Shouldn't take too long once I get some time to work on it, but once I have time, like, I kind of want to see the game work as it is now before I start taking off on a new project, because like there might still be bugs with the Steam controller integration. So
yeah, okay. Well, then once we get a machine up and the jobs are taken care of, I'll let you know, and hopefully we can just like quickly deploy to Steam, because that'll be a nice little update once it's out.
Yeah, full Steam controller support. No biggie.
No big deal. Okay, all right. Anything else from you guys? Is there anything from anyone watching? Because I know not all 4 of you watching are supporters. But if you have anything in the supporter chat and you want to ask a question, otherwise, we're gonna get the fuck off. I kind of want to keep this, these like the tinted skin of Judgment almost. It's kind of hilarious.
The Blue Man Group.
Yeah, he's not doing it on here.
The worst kind of bug. The one that only happens once in a while.
It flickers when I switch back between the colors. Like it's trying to load it and then it flips out. Let's see. The mask didn't load because of... Oh, that doesn't look like the mask. Night unmasked shaved? I don't know about that. Yeah,
I just gave everyone, because I looked in the files for the default masks for everyone, and I don't think I could find his mask, so I just gave him the one that looked like it might have been the right one.
Yeah, there's definitely a mask for him out there. I'll have to find it. I'll try and find it for you.
Just pick a random mask.
Well, he's got a mask that goes with his character.
I mean, just the idea of just a random mask. It's like, that one looks good.
Okay.
Just color random bits.
Just drawing his face in permanent marker.
It's pretty much it. It's like you find a mask that's a whole bunch of like really poorly drawn penises. Hey, you could sell like little doodle masks for people's armors. That's another idea.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I want to go get some dinner, so let's wrap.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, go to bed. And Josh, I take it you're gonna have a busy day tomorrow. All right. So I'm gonna go get dinner. I'll be back in a little bit, but thanks everyone for watching the first one of these in a long time. We'll do it again next week. So
Okay.
Adios.
adios. Oh, I don't think where's the live button? Oh God, where's the off? Dude,
How do I
this
turn
is
this
awkward.
off? Everybody leaves, still streaming.
All right,
Empty
bye
room.
everyone.